on, everybody? Welcome to ClawedOutGames. Today we have a bit of a different video, at least for my channel. Today we're going to be going over an upgrade guide for Hearthhull, the World Seed, and its Precon. So if you guys did not know, this guy came out in Edge of Eternities, and this is the first time we're able to see not creatures in the command zone that doesn't have the, this guy can be your commander. But yeah, so now legendary spacecrafts and legendary vehicles are allowed to be in the command zone. And I chose for this guy to be the commander of this Precon. So today we're gonna be going over things I took out, the things I put in, different lands that I may have taken out and put in, and then just some, upgrades for cosmetic reasons over here. So if you're interested, please stay tuned. Before we get started, please make sure to do the good old YouTube thing, which is like, subscribe, comment what you think about this Precon. I'll leave the original Precon deck list in the description. But this, so far, I've played one commander night. It was a few games with it, and I'm absolutely in love with this commander. This might be my favorite Precon. I really like Zergo from Tarkir, but this guy is a lot of fun. So, like I said, if you're interested, please stay tuned, and let's get right into it. Let's first talk about the things that I had taken out and the reasons why I took these guys out. A lot of these things I took out because they were for either generic, like sacrifice, like Mayhem Devil's really, really good, and this guy might stay in here. Same with Jury, but they're just generic sacrifice things. They're not more specified for sacrificing lands, which could be better, but I don't know. We'll see about this guy. This guy might be in because Mayhem Devil's insane. He says whenever a player sacks a permanent, this creature deals 1 damage to any target. Jury says whenever you sack a permanent, put a counter on him, and then whenever a Jury dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. I only have sack outlets in here for lands, and maybe that's the reason I'm turned off by these, because I'm not going to be I'm not going to have a constant, sack outlet for Mayhem Devil or Jury. So that's the reason I took those guys out. Some other of these guys were like, I think Groundskeeper is not very great. Returning a basic land from your graveyard to your hand is cool. On a 1-drop is also pretty cool, but like, I don't know. I'd rather I have so many effects in here that takes them straight out of the graveyard and puts them straight onto the battlefield tapped that I don't really care for the Groundskeeper. Another thing I kind of got rid of was like the discarding lands outside of the cycle lands that I kept in here. I think are really cool, but I don't really care for discarding my lands in the graveyard. I really want to sacrifice them. Whenever this creature ETBs, you may discard 1 or more land cards, and you do return up to that many target non-land permanents from your graveyard to your hand. Centaur Vinecrasher, I just don't think this card is very good. So he enters with counters on it equal to the number of land cards. On turn 4, that might be a couple lands in your graveyard. So he comes in as a 3/3. I don't know. I just don't love this guy. Formless Genesis. Again, I don't really like this guy either. He's a 3-drop changeling, and you can create an XX colorless shapeshifter token where X is the number of lands in your graveyard. Yeah. Soul Ring. This is an extremely heavy ramp deck, but it's all lands. So taking out Soul Ring obviously hurts, but I did take out Soul Ring. I also took out the Arcane Signet as well. We're really trying to stick with land ramp only. It just feels like a dead card in a deck like this. For any number of opponents, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. This, for 5 mana, just isn't effective removal in my opinion. I know this is a big ramp deck, but I just think 5 mana for 3 non-land permanents isn't great. But that's just my opinion, guys. All of this stuff is my opinion. If you love a card like Soul of One Grace, which I think Soul of One Grace is cool, and you want to keep it in your Precon, please do it. Don't come at me in the comments. But Soul of One Grace, again, this is putting a land card from a graveyard onto the battlefield tap. That's really, really good. And this is on the verge of being placed back in there as well, by the way. I'll always keep a sideboard of things in my deck, and this guy will definitely be one of them. I might end up trying him out, but the reason I really took him out was just he's got a discard sub-theme, and again, I don't love that in this deck, but him being able to recur lands is pretty good. So we'll keep an eye on Soul of One Grace. Whenever a player sacks another permanent, put a counter on each creature you control. Again, this could buff your board up like crazy. He could be fun, but it just doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't feel very, very good just yet. But he's one that we can keep an eye on as well. Gaze of Granite, destroy on that permanent with mana value X or less. The reason I took this out was because all of our tokens we're building with things like both the Baloths and like Scoot Swarm and stuff, those have mana value of 0. So anytime you play this, you're just destroying all of your tokens. So this doesn't feel very good in this deck either. Binding the Old God seems okay. It's removal. And then go grab a forest card. This one seems okay. Urg. This one is a sack outlet for a land. Paying 2 for the sack outlet just doesn't seem very good either. You'll see that I have free sack outlets that I put in here as well. So that's the reason I took that out. Farseek, this one was hard to take out, man, but I think I just decided on, and you'll see based on the lands I took out, this deck loves basic lands, and I know this can get basic lands, it just can't get a basic forest. That's just the only reason. You'll see the ramp that I took out for it. I put in things like Entish Restoration, which has the opportunity to go get 3 lands. So it's just big mana, or big amounts of lands that we're trying to go get. Satyr Wayfinder, this is, again, milling your lands, and I don't love that. I'd rather sacrifice them from my board. Tear Asunder, it seems all right. I don't know about this card. I know this card is pretty popular, but it's just not something that I love to pay 4 mana to exile target non-land permanent. I put Assassin's Trophy in here, so, and it's 2 mana to destroy. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I sleeping on this card? Let me know. World Breaker. Whenever you cast a spell, exile target artifact, enchantment, or land. And you can pay 3 to sack a land, return card from your graveyard to your hand. I don't really love that card for 7. Multani. Again, this is just a big beater. I might keep him around just for his reach and trample, but we'll see. You'll see what I added in, and you guys can be the judge of all this. Tyler's Tracker seems good. It's just creating clues in this deck I don't really care for. That's just my opinion. Pest Infestation. Destroy up to X target artifacts and or enchantment and create twice X 1/1 black and green pest tokens. When this token dies, you gain 1 life. Again, this seems like more of either a token deck, a dedicated token deck, or like a aristocrat deck where we can sack all these tokens to gain life. Night's Whisperer, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. This is just a bad draw spell in my opinion. Spouting Goblin. Again, you could possibly pay 3 to go grab a basic land and put it into your hand. It is a sack outlet for a land on this creature, but I did get to play this on my Commander night last week, and I didn't love how this felt on the board. So let me know. I will keep this guy around because it is a sack outlet for a land, but let me know. When this creature attacks, You and defending player each discard a card and sack a permanent. You draw a card for each land card put into the graveyard this way. This guy I'm very intrigued on. I really like this guy. I've never gotten to play this guy, but he is going to be in my sideboard. The only thing is you can't control what your opponents discard or sacrifice. So if they don't sacrifice or discard lands, he doesn't do anything for you. He would be a sack outlet for yourself, which is cool, but he has to attack. I don't know. What do you guys think? These are the things that I've taken out. We'll get to what I put in 1 second. Let me go over some like cosmetic things I took out. I just took out Riveteer's Outlook, Terramorphic Expanse, and Cabaret Courtyard just for the foil versions of them, just because I had a bunch laying around. So I did want to point that out. And then same thing with Cultivate and Roiling Regrowth. I just had some really cool versions of these that I wanted to put in. I've had this Cultivate forever and I haven't been able to put it in a deck. So there's that. And then some of the lands that I took out were the slow fetches. I did throw some of the higher power fetches into the deck just because I have them. So we have the slow fetches I took out. I don't really love, fetching these and throwing these in the graveyard and then having them enter tapped again. Like if I can play them for my graveyard. We have the Dockmar Salvage. It's a dredge card. Again, that's a milling sub-theme that I don't really care for right now. This guy's gonna be my sideboard as well. This card is so sick. I don't know how, many counters you can get onto this thing before you end up wanting to sacrifice it. But yeah, this card is so sweet. I might actually put this in my Baitor deck just because it has life loss into it and it taps. It doesn't enter tapped or anything like that. I might, but he is going to stick around because I really, really like this guy. Bajuka Bog, again, I just really, really, really wanted this deck to have basics into it. Wastes, I don't know why that's in there. I think there's like an Eldrazi that's in there that you need that for. Whatever. Myriad Landscape. I don't love Myriad Landscape. Myriad Landscape is so slow, in my opinion. And then these filter lands, I am a super big hater of these filter lands. Man, I hate these guys. They always feel bad playing on the battlefield, unless you're running a 2-color deck. A 2-color deck is not bad, but a 3-color deck, especially and up, is very difficult to run these guys. So those are the lands I took out. Here are some of the lands I put in. I think I did add some more basics in there as well, but I put Ash Barrens. Just throwing something into your graveyard and replacing it with a basic is good. The 2 fetch lands I already talked about. Shire Terrace, which is an untapped land or a sack land, fetch land. And then Twisted Landscape. I'm really surprised this wasn't in the original deck list. It's just a fetch land for any of the basics that you need. And it cycles itself in the graveyard. I thought this card would be perfect for this deck list, but I guess it wasn't there. And then Demolition Field, which is just a little bit of a land removal package. So those are the guys I put in. Now let's get into the cards, the steak and potatoes of what I was able to put into this deck. Again, if you don't like what I put in, please feel free to let me know what you would have added or what you did add and taken out. So we have a Zurin Orb. Again, this card, I had this in my bulk for a really long time. I think it's shot up a couple $, but it's just a 0 mana spell for a 0 mana sack outlet for lands. It's pretty good. We have Perennial Behemoth. You'll see with some of these cards, I really wanted to focus on playing my lands from the graveyard instead of returning them to my hand, or sometimes I couldn't have the big mana or the big money stuff to return them straight from the graveyard to the battlefield. I really like being able to, if I have a thing on the battlefield that says I can play 2 lands a turn, I can play a fetch and then play that same fetch that turn. I really like that, and that intrigues me quite a bit. We have Summon Titan. I know I've been kind of, talking bad about the milling part, but this is why he's in here. You can return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Wayward Swordtooth, play an additional land on each of your turns, which is pretty good. Same thing with Will of Sultai. It's this second sentence in the first ability. Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Plus, you can make a big giant beater with this as well if you have your commander out. Pretty sweet card. Here's some more efficient removal that I had added in. Assassin's Trophy, Medieval. Again, ramming up Excavator. You may play lands from your graveyard. Again, seems pretty good and seems important in this deck. The classic Scoot Swarm. I really like how this Precon seemed to try to stay away from this and made a more fair version of Scoot Swarm. But I had to add it in there. Any landfall deck. Entis Restoration. Sacking a land and then going to grab 2 basics, putting them on the battlefield. If you have a controller creature with power 4 or greater, you actually get to get 3 of them. This card's really sweet. Dryad Elysian Grove, mana fixing, and you can play an additional land on each of your turns. Sabotender. Sorry, I never played Final Fantasy, but and Spitfire Lagak, they do the same thing. Whenever a land ETBs deals damage to each opponent. It's just another win con. If you could throw a ton of lands into your graveyard, into the battlefield, like one of the couple cards I just showed you, this could legitimately kill your opponents. Spelunking, an insane card in this deck. This is the important part we have it for. Lands you control in the battlefield untapped. Super good. Lotus Cobra, also very good. Whenever a land ETBs under your control, add a mana. So if it's entering tapped, you're still getting the value out of it entering. Rishkar's Expertise, and then Shamanic Revelation are just 2, good card draw spells, especially if you have a big guy and or a lot of creatures. We have those guys. Crop Rotation. I hesitated on putting this in just because it's a game changer now, and I don't really have like a Guy's Cradle or I don't have the Dark Depths combo in here as well, but it does sack a land and you can go get another land. I don't know. The jury's still on this guy too. I don't know if I'll keep him in. Course of Crufix, if a land enters, you gain a life and you play lands off the top of your library. World Shaper, when it dies, return all land cards from the graveyard tapped. Now, this card is sweet. This card is awesome. Famished World Sire. It's got Devour Land 3, so you can sacrifice any amount of lands when it enters, and it enters with that many counters. And then when 3 times that many counters. When this creature enters, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is this creature's power, and put any number of land cards from among them onto the battlefield tap. I played some Goldfish with this deck, with this card, and it was sweet. Avenger of Zendikar, again, classic landfall. Territory Caller, this one is, the jury's still on this guy too. Whenever a land ETBs, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you may reveal it and put it in your hand. If you don't put that card into your hand, you may put it into your graveyard. So if it's a land, you're able to throw it into your graveyard and then possibly play it from your graveyard after that. We'll see. I've never played with this guy, but it seems cool. Druid class, whenever a land ETBs, you gain a life. And then that second ability is important. You may play an additional land of each of your turns. Again, you may play an additional land on each of your turns. And then this is a land tutor with a big giant reaching body. So this is just a one-on-one upgrade from that Multani. It's a big giant reaching body and it's a land tutor tagged onto it. So that's my Hearthhull Precon. Let me know what you guys think. I did get rid of a lot of removal, but I added a ton of extra better ramp, in my opinion, and a couple more win cons. So just let me know what you guys think. I love to hear what other people are doing with their precons and their commanders. And I love to interact and maybe tweak some of my decks as well. So thank you guys. Peace and have a good weekend.